Welcome to the Eagle's Nest Mentorship Forum, a place where we just come to reflect, we come to resolve, and also we retain that which we have had and that which will challenge our minds and challenge us just to become all that God has created for us to be. And today here at the Eagle's Nest, it's the man's conversation. A conversation about men in 21st century, a conversation on what it takes or what it makes one to be a man in the 21st century. You know, so many things are around us, so many things in this day and time that seem just to crowd our minds, and more so for the boy child. And there's been a lot of conversation about the boy child. Some believe the boy child is dwindling slowly by slowly every day. More focus has been given to the girl child, and it seems that we are losing the boy child. And fast forward it, you come into marriage, there's so many complaints, there's so many challenges that we get to hear. Women keep to talk about, men in the marriage are not being the men who they're supposed to be, and what have you. And so many things we can talk about the challenge that is facing the boy child. At some point, I had a conversation with someone told me that actually the man has not changed, but the perspective of the man is what has changed. And it seems that this perspective is bringing about so many stresses to the man. And today we are here to discuss about the boy child, about the man in various aspects as we'll be enabled to do so. And so, karibu sana. Please make sure you subscribe. Make sure you go on YouTube, subscribe on our Facebook, on Instagram. Please make sure you look for Steve Onguko at Steve Onguko, and once you do so, you'll be able to find most of our content there and what we do just to help somebody outside there to connect, and somebody outside there just to be a man. As I always say, you are a man and not a mouse. So today on show we have a great awesome guy. Karibu sana.
Asante.
It's called Moffat Mushauri. He'll be telling us much more about himself before we get into it, but I can tell you, an amazing guy you just want to listen to. And so he'll be with me today on this set, and just as we have this man conversation. But for now, acha atuambie ni nani.
Thank you very much, Pastor Steve.
Karibu sana.
I am very delighted to be here.
Asante.
My name is Moffat.
Yeah.
Moffat Kago, but my screen name is Moffat
Mushauri. Why Mushauri?
Mushauri because my work is to counsel with people.
I thought so. Actually, I was almost asked you at some point.
Oh yes, Mushauri is a counselor in Swahili.
Yes.
So that is what I do. I am a marriage and family therapist, a psychologist.
Awesome.
And a lecturer. And on top of that, I also had an organization called ProCare Counselors. You know, its work is just to take care of our society's mental health. And again, at the same time, we are also helping families who are going through various crises. I also do offer expert opinion on our mainstream media. And therefore, my work is to reach out to the society and to make sure that people are well, people are doing great as far as mental health is concerned. And especially during this time of pandemic, a lot of people have gone through a lot of crisis.
Wow.
And the men are among the people who have gone through such crisis because of the societal expectations of men.
Wow.
Oh, yes.
Interesting. This is just an amazing. Already you've heard what he's saying, what he's talked about. What he does, and I think this is what we need. And karibu sana to this conversation
Asante.
on what it takes to be. And there's the biggest question. Just before perhaps we just get right into the bigger question and look into various aspects on what it takes to be a man, and looking at all the angles of it. Maybe quickly, I just want to you to perhaps speak into this. Where do you think is the place of a man in this 21st century? Where do you think is his place? Because it seems to be the man seems to be dingling somewhere, or is not trying to figure out his place. So what do you think about the place of man in this century?
Thank you. That's a very good question, Steve. The place of man, number one, has never changed. Right from the beginning. But it is our society that keep on changing, and that keeps to redefine masculinity. And therefore, when masculinity has been redefined, you realize that man thinks that he needs to be somewhere else other than where he is supposed to be and other than where God designed him to be. And therefore, as a result of that, the 21st century, I would say that it is really hard to be a man.
Would rather be somebody else than being a man.
Oh, yes. It is really hard to be a man.
Yes.
And I think we'd rather start from that point.
Yes.
It is hard to be a man because a lot of things have changed. There are a lot of dynamics that we are dealing with. We are living at a time when our wives, the girl child, is earning money. Sometimes you realize that you get married to a person who earns more than you do.
Yes, yes.
And because of the societal expectation of a man, you tend to feel like you are less of a man.
Yeah.
Let me talk about even young people who are graduating from one phase of life to the other.
Yes, yes, yes.
As far as manhood is concerned. Talk of when a young man reaches that age of looking for a girl to marry.
Yes, yes.
It is hard to be a man because today the man is being told by these girls, they are trying again to redefine who a man is. And you hear them say, mwanaume ni wallet,
Yes.
mwanaume ni gari,
nyumba.
mwanaume ni nyumba, mwanaume ni loan.
Lord.
Oh, yes. You know?
Okay.
All this has been redefined. But again, I also want to emphasize that we are having another challenge that has made man to be where he is. The kind, talk of a generational gap.
Yes.
There's a place where parents began to make mistakes.
Yes, yes.
Or to go south.
Yes.
And this is the place where we introduced the world to the boy child, a world without hassles, a world without chaos, a world where everything can be conquered by your parent, a world where your parent can think for you, and a world that can only be defined by how much you've been able to accumulate in terms of resources, in terms of finances, in terms of properties, and all that. And therefore, man in the 21st century, because of wanting to conform to what the society expects of him,
Yes.
man is not resting. Man is on the move.
Always on toes.
Always on toes. As a matter of fact, he doesn't know where he is.
So, there's something that you've said, and I will not want to lose that point. Interesting perspective. There's something you've just said, and which I find to be very interesting. You said that one of the challenges, parents are actually contributing to the challenge of men.
Yes.
Because they have been doing everything for the boy child. They have been doing everything. They haven't shown him what it means to do it as a man.
Yes.
They're actually doing it. They're providing bread and butter every day. They're doing all that thing. That's a very interesting. I had not even thought about it that way.
It is very interesting because today I am curious how many parents with the boy children are able to train them to be men. And it's a whole myriad of issues. I'm not sure whether we are able to finish up in this segment.
We can't. Because
boy child is going through a lot of challenges. Number one, we are almost, in fact, I keep saying, and sometimes people think that maybe I'm not being fair to men. I keep saying that if this is the pattern that we are going to continue with, the future is women.
Wow.
It is women because right from where we are, because we have house helps, we do not want to train our children in house chores.
Yeah.
Yeah. We want their sisters and we want the house helps to do everything for them. We do not teach them even how to cook for themselves. The other day I was talking to a gentleman and I was asking him, somebody who has left his parents is living on his own. And I was teasing him and asking him, do you cook in your house? And he told me, hey, mimi hata kwangu sufuria hakuna. And you realize that other than that challenge, number 2 challenge that man has been facing from a number of years, this has been the pattern. Man, again, has been raised in a home without men.
Yeah, actually, I was going to ask that, but you've gone ahead.
Father absence.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
And when we talk about absence, remember the previous point where we said that the man is on his toes.
Yes.
He is not resting.
Yes.
Because he wants to really prove himself and to define or to be at par with the societal expectations of what masculinity is all about, which is a very erroneous and misinterpretation and misrepresentation of who a man ought to be. For that reason, you realize that we are raising boy children in a family without fathers. And if there is a father, he is very absent emotionally and psychologically.
Not there.
Okay? Then we do have another breed of, for lack of a better word, allow me to say this, because of the postmodernism crisis that we are in. We are also having a breed of women, allow me to say that, who think that they do not want any man to boss them around. And therefore they think that the only thing they need from a man is a seed. And they give birth to children, but they do not want responsibilities. These are women who are rich, who are educated, and they feel like I call it a malicious belittling of man's position in a family. It's extremely malicious. So you realize that these women, they are raising children, and these children do not have fathers. All right, and I'm saying this as and I'm being guided by a research study that I carried out some years ago. In Kamete Maximum Prison, juvenile prison. And it is amazing. Around 80% of boys who are incarcerated in Kamete, 80% come from fatherless homes.
There's no fathers; just they're being raised by mothers alone.
No fathers, and when I talk about no fathers, I mean the physical absence that the boy has been raised by a single mother. Number 2 is fathers who are there, but they are not able to connect with their sons. And therefore they are just there, but very absent emotionally.
This is a big challenge because it affects, because sometimes in my duty of what I do every day, you meet ladies and first they tell you there are no men, or meet ladies who are telling you they are. In fact, in my recent conversations, I've had and it is with couples who have actually decried that they're in this marriage, but feeling they are the men in that marriage, and yet the men, there's an expectation of a man to lead in a marriage setup, but I feel like I'm the man. I have to do my duties as a wife, and also I have to do the duties of a man, because this man is just there.
It is very sad, Steve, because I'm very sorry to say that our society is raising men who are like zombies, who, to a very great extent, and it is not their problem. It's the way they have been raised. We have made them to become like that, because the moment you are a parent and you do not want to expose your child to external challenges and threats. Let's say, for instance, and this is something I have even mentioned somewhere, in the course of my the work that I do.
Yes.
I look at when we are taking new students in the university, the first years, and they are brought by their parents, and you see a parent holding a pen and a paper to fill that form for this teenage boy or girl,
their name, their age,
and you hear them saying, I want to be taken round to see where my child will be sleeping. And I'm like, for heaven's sake, for me, when I did my Form 4 and I said that I wanted to go to college, I was only given a bus fare to Nairobi. Go and look for school, ukipata utuambie. And therefore we are raising we are raising a breed of men who are not resilient. And I think this is what even our girls are feeling the moment they get married. Men who are not resilient, who give up very fast, and men who are not fighters because of the way they have been socialized right from the families of origin. I think I would not blame men per se, but I think they are, it's wider. If we were to lay blame on anybody, it is wider than just within the scope of man as we know.
So it seems like there's an avalanche of things that are affecting the man and just his upbringing in the society.
Yeah.
So the question is this, maybe to ask you, is all lost for the boy child? Is all lost for the men?
All is not lost. All is not lost. But I think, we have talked about the way we raise our children. I think when we say that all is not lost, we are also saying something to parents of boy child, that they need to begin doing something as early as now. But for men who are there,
yes, I
will want to say that for them to be able to spring back to their normal and original,
their call as a man, manhood,
natural functioning.
Yes.
They, number one, need to expose their underbellies to the challenges that we are having. That they can be fighters, and they need to redefine masculinity and go back to the basics of what masculinity is, because masculinity is not raising your voices. Some of these men, in as much as we are saying everything that we are saying, they think that they can subject their wives under their rulership by raising their voices.
But that's because of how they saw their fathers doing that.
You know why? Because every time you see a person, not just a man, a person who is raising his voice at others, or looking down on others, or threatening others. Number one, that's a very insecure man. That is insecurity. Do you know, if you happen to meet with a lion, a lion does not attack a human being because a human being is its food.
Yes.
It attacks a human being. If you ask people who are knowledgeable in the animal kingdom, they will tell you that a lion will attack you because of fear and anxiety. It is like it wants to defend itself in advance.
Yes.
All right?
Yes.
And therefore, that's the moment at which it will attack a human being.
And I think it's the same thing even with dogs, because yesterday I had a very interesting experience. I was late in the night. I had to take my brother, called me and said, please come, I need to go to hospital, I'm not well and all that. So on our way walking, because just nearby, so walking, this dog was busy barking.
Yes.
But the more we kept walking towards the dog, the dog ilinyamaza. Then even it left us pass by, it did not even bark, but he was doing that in terms of defense.
That is it. Now, we are putting ourselves there also because we are men.
Yes.
I think we really need to raise our self-esteem and to reach out to other men who can be able to help us redefine how the world has been introduced to us, because that is the biggest challenge. Number two, men has been designed in a manner to suggest by the society, the way he has been socialized, that men should not feel, men should not say what is troubling them from within. Men should keep to themselves. Men should not speak up. Men should fight, and men should conquer all the time. And I'm here to tell them that it is not all the time.
Always.
It's not always that you have to conquer the world. There are times when life can throw at us things that we cannot crack. And it is important for us to admit that. It is important for us to know, I keep saying that one of the 10 commandments of men is that thou shalt not feel. Right? Thou shalt not feel. Meaning, ati mwanaume ni kukaa ngumu. And this has made so many men
hurting, depressed.
They have begun to live lives of depression, hurting, and hurting others. Because, Steve, there's something we call emotional illiteracy. And emotional illiteracy is when, first of all, you do not know how you are feeling about yourself, right? You are just confused. You don't know. You are in a dilemma. You don't know how to deal with a particular situation. And for that reason, it also becomes very hard for you to know how others are feeling about what you do to them. That is why a gentleman who was in the news the other day would take a knife and stab his lover.
I saw that story. Very, very, very sad story.
It is very sad, and
just because he can't live without her.
And that is an extremely narcissistic man, and an extremely insecure man, and an extremely fearful, and a man with low self-esteem.